Hello everybody, welcome back to Eileen's Craft Nook. Today we're going to be doing this butterfly mold. Now I sat and I thought for quite a while about how I wanted to do these butterflies. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do butterfly three ways. So I'm going to do one with mica, I'm going to do one with glitter, and I'm going to do one with the pigments. And then we'll top coat it and we'll finish the other side for these smaller ones. So I'm going to start with the mica because that will give me an opportunity. If it gets into the smaller molds, I'll just wipe them out. And I think I'm going to do the mica in the largest one. So I'm going to get my colors out and we'll get started. Okay, so what I'm actually going to be using are the Let's Resin Chameleon powders. I also have my assorted micas here that I may use. I have the tools that I'm going to be using. I have a couple of different size. These are just some old makeup brushes, some cheaper brushes I got from Dollar Tree, a little mini cotton tipped tool, and a an eyeshadow brush. And I think I got these at the Dollar Tree as well. I got a package of them. So first things we want to do is just kind of decide of what the colors. So this is not going to be like a realistic, like a monarch or anything like that. We're just going to choose some colors that I feel will go nice together. But this center part here, I think I want to make that, I think I'd like to use the bronze on that. So I'm going to start with this and the antennae. I don't know what this is called, but let's go ahead and get started. The antennae actually, yeah, they're probably black, aren't they? Let me take a look. I know I have a silver black. So there's the black I have. Maybe I should just make the whole thing black, even though I'm covering it with black. This will give it that shine. So let's go ahead and start with that. So with mica powders, I like to wear a mask just because of the fine dust. Just like a mask you would wear like you wore it when we were wearing masks for COVID. Oh, and already, well, it doesn't matter, that's not part of the mold that pours. So I'm just going to, and when this is done, this actually comes out more silver than, it's not a black, but it's going to have black background. So it should look fairly black. And I'm not Okay, we're going to start with this glitter. I picked this one up at Michael's. It's a huge bag, but they make it for folks who do the tumblers, and it was marked down. It was on sale for $5 a bag, I think it was regular 10 or something. So I picked up a few bags of it and stocked up because it is a pretty glitter. And if I'm just using it for my molds, it lasts me forever. But I have pipe dreams. Maybe one day I'll try a tumbler. So I'm going to add a little bit of this glitter, not a lot, to the little bit of Duraclear I have in a little pot. Just going to grab a spoon. So I'm just using a little spoon like this. I'm just testing this out. I can make more. So I don't want it really thin, but I don't want it where I can't spread it in the area I want to put it in either. If it's too thin, it's when it dries, it's not going to be like a solid glitter. You'll see blank space in it, because again, the Duraclear dries, as the name implies, clear. Okay, so how are we going to go about doing this? I think we're going to use our little where did it go? I'll get an oops, I have to get another one. Excuse my arm, guys. I think we're just going to use one of these because this is a very small area to work in. So I'm going to start by filling in. The glitter done, and I know it kind of looks blobby, but you need to remember that this is the back of the mold, so it will be smoother on the other side. But what I used was the copper that I showed you guys, and the other one was this one I picked up at Michael's called Allure, and it's a Recollections. If I was doing this again, I found this a little bit hard to work with. It was a little bit too chunky, had these stars in there that kind of interfered with the small areas. But I mean, we'll see what it looks like when it's done. Doing this was pretty fun. I like coloring in these. Now for the little raised parts along the edge, I'm going to leave those in this one because I'll do something with those on the other side once it's done. They're too small to work with in this mold. So that one's done. So, and this is going to have to dry for a few hours because that glitter has to dry before I can pour the resin in it. So we have our chameleons done, our glitter done, and our last one we're going to use the translucent pigments. So I'm just going to grab those and get them ready, and we'll get these filled in with those. Okay, so what I've done is I'm using the Let's Resin. There we go. Let's Resin translucent. It comes in a box like this. So, oh yeah, let me get this for you. Oh, there we go. The translucent epoxy resin dye is what I'm using. Sorry about the dog, guys. All right, and what I did was I put some of the. Let me bring you out. I put some of the Duraclear into the bottle, and then I added about 10 to 14 drops of the orange translucent dye, and I thought it might be easier. I got these bottles from Temu, but you can get them from Amazon. You can get them from Michael's, any craft store. Um, Here in Ontario, we don't have Joann's or Hobby Lobby or anything like that, so our go-to is normally Michael's. So you'll hear me mention them quite often. So I thought it'd just be easier getting into these small areas with these bottles. So, and then I mixed up just so I did that with the yellow and the orange, and I mixed up just a little bit. I didn't have brown in the Let's Resin, but this is caramel. mixed a little bit of this up because I might try to blend it in a little bit on the end of the, the, the wings here. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me just test this on my, there, yep, okay. So we're just going to fill these little areas in. I can bring you in so you can see a bit better. And it's just a lot easier to control in these little bottles with the needle nose. And then it just becomes trying to determine what color you want to do. I know what a monarch looks like, but for the life of me, I'd have to bring a picture up to think of it right now. But it's going to be in the yellow oranges in the honor of a monarch, even though it's not going to have the same markings as a monarch. I just wanted it to be different than the other two, and we hadn't used the yellows and the oranges. So that was my goal. Okay. Now we're going down here with the orange. Okay, an update since we last, you'll notice, spoke that the colors are a bit different in this guy. I moved the mold to move it out of the way, and one of these glitters will easily dislodge from the mold, and one came dislodged. And what will happen if it's loose at all, the resin will leak underneath and you won't see the glittery pattern. So I replaced it, and I didn't really like the glitter I used anyway, so this time I went with the green and the goldish color. And then I thought today, when I was doing the resin, I'm like, I don't know what color to do in here. I could do it black, but this big guy's going to be black. So I thought, well, what goes with green? I mean, yellow, but I don't have a nice yellow mica. Gold would have looked nice, but I end up going with green. So, and I hope I mixed up enough here. If not, I'll just mix up some more. So we're going to go ahead and pour green in here, and we'll see how it looks. Now, this one here, I didn't want to do in black. It would be too dark. The black would show through these yellows and orange, and it would be too dark. I was going to do clear, then I thought, because clear you'd be able to see the colors from both sides, but instead I had just bought, so that green mica was just one that I had gotten at Michael's. And when I was at Michael's this past weekend, I picked up this iridescent pigment powder from Recollections. So I wanted to try that out. So that's what we're going to pour into this one. That is pretty. Boy, does that pick up the light. Oh, I can't wait to use this on some other projects. Man, that's beautiful. Okay, like I did with the other one, I need to, and let me just, there's some loose black on here from when I did the antennae with the black. We're just going to kind of dribble that down in, and then we're going to use our little stick again just to ensure that it is all the way down. If you don't do that step, you will end up with air bubbles. These little tiny pockets. So you can do the same with the little butt. Okay. All right. Just going to pour the rest of our resin in. I must have mixed up just a little bit less of this one than I did with. Okay. Let's see if I made enough resin for this, all three of these butterflies. I wasn't sure how much to make. You want that to make sure that goes up into those antennae. This one is going to be close. So I just want to use my stick. Oh, shoot. Oh, bugger. Okay. Eileen. I just dropped that right into that darn green. Oh, okay.
Where's the pudding?
Sorry about that, children. Okay. Right. I hope that black I dropped in there and the green one doesn't sink down, but if it does, we'll deal with it. Can't change it. I try to get it out of there. Okay, so I just want to make sure I don't have any bubbles in his bum or in his antennae. I'm also going to just do a little quick run around the edges, although this has the rounded edges. Okay, and we're just going to pour the rest of our black in here, hoping that we fill this up. I have a video coming up that I did a bear mold, and I love it. I love it, but it's the most resin that I've mixed up to date. I had one of these big mugs full, and it got warm. I'm moving on to larger projects. But that's the way you learn. I haven't done any deep pours. I don't have the resin for it. I certainly wouldn't want something to fast cure or flash. I guess it's called flash cure. You know what? I think that worked out. So I will be back once this is dry, everybody. Thanks. All right, everything is cured and it's time for the reveal. So let's start with our two smaller ones and then we'll move to the big one. So let's take a look at this guy. Oh, so our green mic with the mica in it seeped below the glitter. But you know what? It still looks nice. Still has enough of that glitter in there that it, I still like it. Okay, let's move on to this one. I hope this one I really hope turns out. Oh, look at this. I love it. I love it. It's actually still a little damp on this side. I might have to, actually, I think if I just leave it out, it will dry. I love this. This is beautiful. Look at it, guys. Look at. I absolutely love that you can see. I did it with the white on the back, and you can see that through the orange and the yellow. This is spectacular. This is probably one of my favorite pieces I've done. It's gorgeous. Oh, it's going to be hard for this one to beat that one. Let's take a look. Oh, still a little bendy. It's been about 24 hours, but this is still, I can still bend that a bit. So I just want to be careful around these. Just want to be careful. Move this out of the road. Just want to be careful around those antennae. Because it's still a little bit flexible. Okay. Pop it over to this side. Just got to get that bottom one out. There we go. Okay. Ready? Look at that. Look at that. I need you guys to see it pick up those lights. The green and the blues and the purples. And when you shift it, the greens, you can't really see it here, but the greens turn to blue. And the blues turn to purple. Beautiful. This one's beautiful too. And this, I think I'd mentioned before that I thought these would, oh, sorry about that, would be nice as a, if you did them all the same, they would be nice as a, some sort of wind chime. Look at this, guys. I am pleased, very pleased with these pieces. Even this one, even though there was a mishap, it still turned out nice. And this one, I love this one. Anyways, thank you. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.